That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about Your Place or Mine, the directorial debut of noted screenwriter Aline Brosh McKenna, which was released on Netflix February 10th, 2023.
I did not care for this movie.
Oh, I did not at all, not one bit. But
I hated the story. It feels like whoever wrote it doesn't know how things work. Like maybe they're rich and they don't do normal people things. I don't know. But this story was so ridiculous to me. And Reese Witherspoon's character, I didn't want her to have a happy ending.
No, not at all. Well, because she's doing that inauthentic thing people do, trying to be this cute, bubbly, quirky persona. It's like, that shit is not real. This person, the way they're behaving is not real. It's just caca. But notably, Aline Brosh McKenna wrote The Devil Wears Prada, the screenplay for that, and 27 Dresses, and was one of the writers on Cruella. So this feels like this was her chance to finally direct her own, have control over her own vehicle, and Jason Bateman produced it as well.
These characters are so they're all one-trick ponies. I wasn't into it. Anyway, the basic story is Reese Witherspoon and Ashton Kutcher are best friends. They met back in 2003, 20 years ago, and had a one-night stand, and then that didn't pan out. So we see 20 years later, they are the best of friends. And we see that Reese is calling Ashton on his birthday.
Debbie and Peter are their names.
Ashton lives in New York, Reese lives in LA, and she's going... The plot point I hated the most, that I'll probably talk about at length later, is that Reese has to go to New York for a week to do some program to get a diploma. Not even like a degree. They keep saying degree and diploma. I don't know what kind of week-long program this is that she couldn't... First, this is like a certificate. This is not a degree or a diploma. And also, why did she have to go to New York to do it? But anyway... Right. She has to go to New York for a week, and so she's planning on seeing her best friend. But at the last minute, the person who's supposed to babysit Reese's 13-year-old son, played by Jimmy Fallon's kid,
Wesley,
or Jimmy Kimmel's kid.
Jimmy Kimmel, Wesley Kimmel.
Some famous person's kid.
Some Nepo baby, yeah.
She doesn't want to leave him. Now that she doesn't have a babysitter, she's like, well, trip's canceled. Even though she tells us that this degree is going to allow her to get a much better job so that she can afford to pay for her kids' eczema medication.
Yeah.
Again, who wrote this? But anyway.
Aline Brosh McKenna.
Ashton Kutcher's like, you know what? I'm in between gigs. Ashton Kutcher's character's rich. He's like, I'm just going to come out for a week and I'll stay with your son. Great. So Reese goes to New York and Ashton comes to LA. It's important to know that Reese's son has every allergy in the world, and she's one of those helicopter moms who everything has to be exactly how it is or this boy's world will fall apart. And of course, Ashton throws all of that out the window. Reese in New York is taking her, I don't know, getting her PhD in accounting. I don't know what she's doing for a week, but she meets one of Ashton's ex-girlfriends, played by Zoë Chao, and they become best friends.
Very fast.
Her character's name is Minka.
Yeah, we have a week, mind you.
And they meet this very famous publisher, played by Jesse Williams. And Reese Witherspoon has read every book he's ever published. It's just unbelievable. And they fall in love. But the film culminates with Ashton has broken all the rules with Reese's son. And he gets he gets injured at a hockey game.
The kid.
And at the same time, Reese discovers Ashton wrote a manuscript that he didn't tell her about. And she has given it to Jesse Williams' character who wants to publish it.
Of course.
So they're meeting to talk about it. And he's proposing that they start date. He's in love with her. He got her a job here in New York. And he wants an interview, but she's going to get it. And he wants to build a life with her.
Meanwhile, she's also discovered a separate envelope full of secrets that suggest Peter is head over heels in love with her and always has been.
So this dummy tells Jesse Williams, I think I'm in love with someone else. And then she gets a phone call saying her son is hurt. So she's like, I have to go. She's mad at Ashton because he didn't follow the rules. And they get into a huge fight when she lands at LAX because he's there ready to go. But then she finds a memento, and which she had seen the day before, but somehow seeing it again reminds her, you know what? You love me. Why didn't you tell me all these years? And then he professes his love to her. They move in together, the end. Oh my God. There is so much about this story that I think is just so basic and corny. Primarily, these two people don't belong together. You spent 20 years with this best friend, seeing how he is, and knowing that nothing about his life resonates with you. Why would you think that being in a relationship with him makes sense when this other man, who's perfect for you
in a way that is too perfect, but would have been the proper choice.
Why
really.
wouldn't you try to pursue something with him and maintain your friendship with this person who you already hooked up with? Like, you already know what it's about. Like
20 years ago, and I think that's why we have to have her reimagining that flashback of their sexual experience to suggest that she is also, because there's really no hint at it. They do feel, I don't know, it just doesn't really make sense.
I hated the opening because it's trying to make so clear that they have this 20-year friendship. It's just a friendship. Mm-hmm. Okay.
It feels very much like Aline Brosh McKenna, I don't know why, is copying Nancy Meyers. Because this feels like a Nancy Meyers B-side, C-side.
I just have nothing but notes about things that don't make sense to me. Like in the opening when Ashton calls an Uber to pick up his girlfriend and he to go to work. The Uber, like they walk like down the street to go get the Uber, and then, but we needed that so that the girlfriend can basically break up with him because he's not emotionally available. That didn't make sense to me.
Right.
Then Reese, on his birthday, then Reese is going on about she needs to do this 1-week program to get this degree so she can get this much better job in accounting, because she needs better insurance because in like 30 days, her son's eczema medication is going to cost $1,000. That made no sense to me.
It's because like the world doesn't work that way.
I couldn't believe how resistant Reese was to Ashton's offer to help her, because when he says, I'm coming to LA, she doesn't want him to. Why not? What? You've known him for 20 years. You can't trust him? He's not going to be, like, this man's rich. He can afford to come out for a week and help you out. It just made no sense, like, why she's being so, like, persnickety about it.
Mm-hmm. And what she has bent over backwards. She's driven to pick him up from rehab twice. She drove across country to his mother's funeral.
Then there's another character played by Steve Zahn. He is Reese's neighbor. Mm-hmm. And he explains in a very crunchy scene that he's independently wealthy because he sold a .com and that he lives next door to Reese in what we're presuming is this amazing house. And he likes to garden in her yard.
She does have a nice Eagle Rock backyard style garden. Mm-hmm.
And then Ashton questions like, well, why don't you just garden in your own yard? And he's like, oh no, I have landscapers for that. But then we find out that he's in love with Reese and that's why he's always in her backyard. And that's supposed to make like, that entire character is only really utilized to make Ashton jealous. I thought that was so dumb.
Well, and then we have Tig Notaro, who is defined by coffee.
Her character's quirk is that she always has a cup of coffee in her hand.
Mm-hmm. And she's very close with Reese, with Debbie. And why wouldn't she just watch your
Why
kid
couldn't she watch the boy then?
for a week?
Oh, that drove me crazy.
Because her babysitter, Scarlet, played by Rachel Bloom, who's in Crazy Ex-Girlfriend from the same writer-director, that series, she gets a part in a film, so she has to cancel the plans for the week. So Debbie's like, I'm just going to do it next year because I have no other way. What?
What about your kid's eczema magic? Like, what? This, oh, that made me so annoyed. The degree program. What is this degree program? I have like 4 notes in all caps. Like, what is this program? Why can this program not be completed online? She's in an actual college where they're teaching like other classes.
Why can't it be completed online? Because she has this stupid scene where she opens up a pencil pack. She's like, I love the smell of new school supplies. And then the woman next to her is like, this is all online. Exactly.
Right.
Why are you there?
Why did you have a character explain to her this is all online? Well, what? Oh, I hated that plot point so much. When Ashton first gets to Reese's home, she has Post-its everywhere.
And annoyingly so.
Mm-hmm. It's like this character spends so much time doing shit like this, or when she gets to Ashton's house, she spends time like washing all of his like glassware because clearly he never uses it and it still has like the tags on it.
She's like, $25 a glass. Just because you should doesn't mean you... Just because you can doesn't mean you should. It's like, well, do you live in New York? Do you know what things cost there?
And also, that's this man's aesthetic. Like, he has money. This is how he wants to live. What do you care? Then, this movie has so much music. Specifically from the band The Cars.
I like the Cars, I do, but Peter's supposedly obsessed with them. So every ostensible scene.
We hear The Cars how many times, do you think?
It doesn't even bother counting. But he's even in a bar trying to get his mind off of Reese meeting another person from their past, and who's like, "We should get out of here. It's too loud." And The Cars is playing, but it's not the song that's playing in the bar. I don't. So
Okay, there is a cute moment where, because Ashton's breaking all the rules, letting the son do what he normally does, and he shows him the movie Alien.
I mean, that is a plus. Yeah, good for you.
I do like Zoë Chao, and I feel like she's probably the only funny part of the movie.
She does get a couple funny lines because
Yeah.
she refers to Reese as a Gen X Earth Mama.
So Ashton writing the manuscript is supposed to be a big secret because they make it a point more than once to explain that Reese and Ashton, tell each other everything. But clearly, he hasn't told her about having written a novel. But then we see that he keeps the manuscript in the oven. Did he not think his friend who's staying at his home for the week would not see this big-ass manila envelope in this, like, fancy oven built into the wall at eye level?
She's all about saving money. She has food prepped the hell out of her place for you. Do you think she wouldn't use that oven? Why would you keep that in there? And also, the manuscript has a title like The Boy. That title has been done used. I wanted it to be called The Boy Brahms 2 or whatever.
Oh, God.
Or The Boy 2 Brahms.
Yeah.
Whatever that movie's called.
Yes, I was going to mention that because I know the Cars music, but I didn't know what they look like. And then you had me look up a picture of the lead singer. And I think that the lead singer and Tig Notaro look very similar.
The Cars has some, fantastic songs.
I didn't like the way the movie looked because all of the outdoor scenes are clearly like shot indoor on green screen. And I was surprised at how obvious it was.
Yeah.
But a lot of these Netflix movies, like, they spend all this money to get these A-list people, and then the production quality is not the best, and the writing is not the best.
Yes.
But then they probably spend like $40 million getting all these people to be in it.
It was shot by Florian Ballhaus, who has a German director who, while working in German cinema, I think is really good, but his Hollywood stuff is, like, his last thing was Marry Me with J-Lo, or, I mean, I don't mind I Feel Pretty with Amy Schumer, but again, it's very much that kind of stuff. I think something that came up while we were watching this that's a much better example of what this is doing is Something from Tiffany's.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, if you have a mind to watch this movie, I would recommend just getting on Amazon Prime and watching Something from Tiffany's.
It also reminded me of a really terrible Reese Witherspoon movie called Home Again, which was the directorial debut of the daughter of Nancy Meyers and Charles Shire. So you can, it hits all the very exact same boxes. And it's disappointing to me because as a kid, I really liked Reese Witherspoon back in her heyday of like Freeway and Election, when she played really dark, weird, grotesque people. And then I even liked the first Legally Blonde. But then after that, it's like she clearly wanted to set up a certain star power for herself. And I just don't know. I think she's got a weird zany energy that is much better served playing different kind of roles, not this rom-com bullshit, especially this Z-grade rom-com bullshit.
I just thought I don't have opinions about Reese Witherspoon as a person, but like this character was so annoying to me. And just, when she's at the airport, she gets on the moving walkway and she stands still. And I'm like, this defines this character. She would be the type of person to be at this crowded airport and hop on that moving walkway and stand still.
Well, and does that white woman thing of like, this man told you to not bring any soil into his house, and she goes and gets all these herbs.
Because Ashton's like loft is this super fancy like loft in Brooklyn overlooking the bridge, and it's very like stark and modern. And she brings in a bunch of plants and like throws to put on the couch. Yeah, like you don't know your friend. Like, and then you don't know him, and you know that he won't like this, I guess, but you do it anyway, and then you think that you two make the perfect couple, and then they just move in together.
And 6 months later, and blah, 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 and then we have all those subtitles that tell us of the things they've done. She doesn't even have a job in editing, and somehow I don't know.
I could be done.
Jesse Williams has nothing to do. What a waste.
I like him.
I do too, a lot. And Ashton Kutcher, who I thought was kind of captivating in that film Vengeance from last year, I think he really has nothing to do. The title reminds me of that. Remember Paperboy Diddy?
The song?
The song Diddy? Mm-hmm. Your Place or Mine All Night Until the Next Day.
What would you give this movie?
1.5.
I would give it 1.5 out of 5. Anything else?
No.
Hit the thanks button. Listen to our podcast. Bye.